Well, it is a historic day. Donald Trump is officially on trial. His criminal trial has begun in Manhattan. This is the hush money case, and so many things to walk you through. I'll discuss sort of the latest news relating to it, a little bit of bad news for Trump right off the bat. I'll show you a video of Trump as he does heading in and out of court, raging and very upset about all of this, but saying a sort of contradictory statement. As you're about to watch some Truth Social posts, he was very busy last night and this morning panicking about the fact that it's all very real now. It's happening. So before doing anything else, let me show you a little bit of initial CNN reporting about the beginning of this, and then we'll look at the first sketch from in the courtroom and just the latest things relating to the trial. First, here's this.
Inside the courtroom, you're seeing the first pictures from actually what's happening inside the courtroom as we are getting this kind of a look inside of there. And obviously we'll be getting live dispatches once everything with the actual beginning of this trial gets underway. And Kristen Holmes and Paula Reed are back here with me outside the courthouse. And Kristen, I think one thing that's important is that Trump, as he's going into this, and the way he came up to the cameras before he went in, he came up closer than he ever has before, to my knowledge, when he walks in. Typically, he speaks from back near the door. Yeah. He came up front and center because he wants as much media coverage of this as possible. He wants his allies out on TV. He wants to be able to use this as his campaign trail just from being inside the courtroom.
Yeah, and if it's any indication, one of his senior advisors was posting a split screen of all the networks taking Donald Trump walking up to the camera and saying, full media court press here. They want.
And then here is Trump as he was about to head in. Again, historic day, former president on trial. And here he was raging as he does outside of court.
This is an assault on America. Nothing like this has ever happened before. There's never been anything like it. Every legal scholar said this case is nonsense. It should never have been brought. It doesn't deserve anything like this. There is no case, and they've said it. People that don't necessarily follow or like Donald Trump said this is an outrage that this case was brought.
I'm going to really quickly pause your viewing of this video to ask you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just click that subscribe button plus the like button as well and the alert bell so you get notifications. Back to it.
This is political persecution. This is a persecution like never before. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And again, it's a case that should have never been brought. It's an assault on America. And that's why I'm very proud to be here. This is an assault on our country. And it's a country that's failing. It's a country that's run by an incompetent man who's very much involved in this case. This is really an attack on a political opponent. That's all it is. So I'm very honored to be here. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the lies that he's telling, no need to spend a bunch of time debunking those. We've been doing that for months now. Very dishonest. But the contradictory statement there is he's talking about how it's an assault on America, and then he immediately goes, and that's why I'm honored to be here, which is a little bit strange. And I'll get to what he's been saying on Truth Social, but first I want to bring in our legal expert, Aaron Parnas. As I previously said, Aaron, especially grateful, always grateful, but especially grateful to have you amid this historic moment relating to Trump's potential freedom. Aaron, how are you feeling on day one of this trial?
It's a fascinating moment. And from the get-go, Donald Trump already suffered bad news this morning during the trial. This morning, before jury selection has even begun, the court has gone through a number of pretrial requests and motions. But one of the motions was Donald Trump's renewed request to have Judge Merchan kicked off the case, or to have Judge Merchan recuse himself over a comment Judge Merchan made to the Associated Press. Judge Merchan previously said that there is essentially no ulterior motives to this trial, that it's going to be a fair and impartial trial. And Trump's attorney said that comment should get him kicked off the case. And today, Judge Merchan quickly rejected that argument, saying that Donald Trump's attorneys did not essentially have any reasonable legal basis to have his recusal. So already starting off with bad news. I mean, we're at lunchtime practically, and jury selection has yet to start, but Donald Trump's already received pretty bad news.
Interesting. Here's some reporting for ABC News on a little bit more of what we learned so far. Following the arguments over alleged witness intimidation, prosecutors signaled they may seek to have Trump held in contempt, and then discusses the limited gag order that we've discussed on this show before, imposed in recent weeks, that prohibits Trump from attacking witnesses and others associated with this case. So already, Aaron, we're seeing the it seems pretty unique dealings prosecutors are having to do with Trump's behavior because of how unhinged he's already been targeting witnesses most recently.
Yeah, for sure. And the prosecution's ask today is not unreasonable. I mean, they asked that Trump be fined $1,000 for each post that violates the gag order, and that Judge Merchan essentially warns him that if he continues to violate the gag order, he could be thrown into jail. Remember, contempt of court is something that every criminal defendant or even witness can face if they violate a gag order. The gag order specifically said Donald Trump cannot speak about witnesses in this case, and he has repeatedly posted on Truth Social about Michael Cohen as early as this morning. And Michael Cohen is a key and central witness to the criminal case. So his violations are pretty clear, I can't imagine Donald Trump being thrown into jail on his first or second offense here, given the fact that he is a former president, Secret Service issues, the whole 9 yards. But him getting fined and him getting a stern warning from the judge could do the trick. And if he continues to violate the gag order, then the judge may have to throw him in jail for a night.
Truly unprecedented and stunning stuff taking place. A little bit more reporting as this is all being reported on in real time, ABC News as well. After several hours of arguments over various evidentiary and procedural matters, jury selection is nearly ready to get underway, and Judge Merchan had to say to the attorneys on both sides, this is what we're going to do. Sit down and relax, as he's trying to get things under control. So it seems like already there's some tension in the courtroom. What else are we learning so far, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big news. There are 500 jurors right now waiting, and jury selection hasn't even started because of all the pretrial issues. And there will still be pretrial issues that the court will likely have to go through this afternoon. Now, jury selection is going to take a long time in this case. You have to find 12 jurors who are fair and impartial to Donald Trump and the case, while also finding 6 alternate jurors to sit on the jury. Judge Merchan has already said today in terms of scheduling that the court will not hold trial on any Wednesday, and that in the next few weeks, because of the Passover holiday, next Monday and Tuesday and the following Monday and Tuesday also will not have trial. So we're only going to have trial really the rest of this week, absent Wednesday, 2 days next week, 2 days the week after. And then Donald Trump's attorneys also asked for May 17th off so that Donald Trump could attend Barron Trump's high school graduation, and then a June 3rd date off so that one of Trump's attorneys can attend one of their children's graduations. Both were taken under advisement. Judge Merchan has not ruled yet. But this is going to be a long process. Attorneys are going to have 30 minutes during the first round of questioning to question prospective jurors, and then 20 minutes during follow-up questioning to try to root out biases for jurors. Remember that ultimately what you don't want are the jurors who are actively trying to get on the case, whether to convict or acquit Trump. You want jurors who are going to get on the case, who are going to be fair and impartial, who are going to hear this evidence for the first time and make a fair and impartial determination. So it's going to be a long process, and we're really just getting started this afternoon.
It is really interesting to play out in your head from both sides' perspectives how you are going to approach that and how you're going to approach the jurors or prospective jurors to make sure that you get the correct ones who are impartial. And given who Trump is, it's just so unusual compared to, I can easily imagine the types of questions prosecutors, the defense attorneys would be asking to weed out the wrong types of people. But with this, it's just so unique because everyone knows Trump and everyone has an opinion. So as we talked about in a past segment, it's less finding people who are like, who's Donald Trump? I have no idea. And just someone who's willing to and able to be impartial despite those potential biases. I mentioned Trump was raging on Truth Social. Before getting to that, here was the first courtroom sketch. I'll full screen it for you all. Very interesting. Again, I can't say enough how historic this is. It is a little bit strange that, I don't know, you picture a trial starting and it feels like something's going to happen. You're going to see something. There's going to be some excitement. But while we're going to be getting information, there will be big revelations, as you've discussed in the past. It'll take weeks. And so there is some patience necessary. But here's some Truth Social activity before Trump went into the courtroom. This is at 4:51 a.m. So I guess 5:51 Eastern time. The radical left Democrats are already cheating on the 2024 presidential election by bringing or helping to bring all these bogus lawsuits against me, thereby forcing me to sit. And then he goes on to the same talking points he said a lot. And this is something that really frightens me, Aaron, about the upcoming election. Even if the best outcome happens, which is Joe Biden defeating Donald Trump, still there's a really scary situation to come because Trump is already laying the groundwork even earlier than he did last time around to cry foul and say that things were unfair and a potential defeat.
For sure, and it's only gonna be greater if he is convicted of this case. Remember, if he's acquitted at the end of this trial, he's gonna go on an acquittal tour around the country saying how it was a witch hunt, how he defeated the deep state and all this stuff. And then if he's convicted, he's gonna say it was a witch hunt, how the deep state went after him. There's really no winning for the country, no matter what happens in this criminal case. Ultimately, a win should be that the jury follows the evidence and issues a fair and impartial decision, whatever it may be. But in terms of political clout and political campaigning, Donald Trump's going to use this one way or the other to bolster his political ambitions. And if he loses in November, he's merely going to, like you said, he's going to blame the fact that this deep state, that President Biden and all these other folks used the legal system to go after him. And he's already laying the groundwork today. Now, obviously, it's all untrue, but it doesn't stop him from saying it. And there's nothing that stops voters from listening and taking it as true, especially in some areas where they're not as tuned into what's happening in terms of reading the indictment and watching day-to-day legal proceedings, things like that. If you're just reading a headline and it says Donald Trump says that the deep state went after you, then yeah, you're more likely to believe that there is a deep state that's going after Trump. Whereas those who are more on, like political insiders know the nuances of these cases and know why he's being brought to trial. So it's going to be a very interesting next few weeks as we go through this trial, but also in a very interesting next few months as we see how this trial impacts the political landscape.
Absolutely. Aaron, where can people find you?
On all my social platforms, just at Aaron Parnas.